Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trail of the Elephants. My name's Amy. I'm going to introduce you to the beautiful Asian elephants that we have here at Melbourne Zoo. There are 6 of them. I can only see 5 for now. So the keepers have just given them a feed. So we do feed them at numerous times throughout the day. And we do feed them in a number of different ways. So elephants eat between 50 to 90 kilograms of food every single day, each one of them. But they actually only digest 50% of that, which means that they really are what we call a keystone species. So out in their natural habitat, they are essential for the survival of a rainforest, because effectively when they are wandering around, they are nomadic animals, and when they go to the bathroom, they're depositing seeds surrounded by fertilizer, so they are regrowing rainforests as they move around. So some of the things that you can see them eating, we've got this massive pile of lettuce down there, but also up along that back wall, those steel cylinders that have the little holes in them, there's food hidden inside there. So this is in line with this idea of enrichment. So enrichment is something that you'll hear a lot around Melbourne Zoo. It basically means any form of physical or mental stimulation that encourages wild behaviours and problem solving. So elephants are incredibly intelligent animals. We want to activate that mind as much as possible, so they need to problem solve how to get some of their food. We don't want to give them silver service food on a platter. It might be nice first couple of times, but it's not going to be particularly stimulating for them. So we are going to introduce a little bit of problem solving that will engage their mind as well as all of those muscles in their trunks and stimulate some wild behaviours. So that lovely ear flapping that we were just seeing and are still seeing is a sign of contentment. So elephants do that when they are quite happy with something that they've found, but it is also a way of cooling themselves down. So elephants' ears what we call highly vascular. So there's lots of veins through there, and the skin is quite thin on their ears. So the way that they cool themselves down is they pump that blood up into their ears, they flap their ears around, which cools the blood and then pumps it back into their body. So they do live in what we call a matriarchal society, which means they are female herds. There is a female leader, a matriarch Mekapa, and male Asian elephants sort of come into the herd for breeding, and out in the wild they are solitary and they go off on their own, and then with little young boys they are around until they pass through adolescence, and then the matriarch very kindly asks them to leave and they go off on their own. So looking at those incredible trunks and the amount of control they have with them, I have a question for you guys. So the whole human body has somewhere between 400 and 500 muscles in our whole body. How many muscles do you think is in an elephant's trunk? Less than 40 billion. Any other guesses? More than 800? More than 2,000? More than 4,000? More than 6,000? You're going to have to go way up. Pardon? More than 20,000, less than 50,000. More than 25,000, more than 30,000, more than 35,000, 40,000 muscles in an elephant's trunk. Isn't that amazing? We've got about 400 or 500 muscles in our whole body. So 40,000 muscles just in that trunk. So they are extraordinarily strong. They can uproot a tree with their trunk, but they can also pick up a single grain of rice. So if you look at the end of their trunk, on the sort of top of it, what you're going to see is something that kind of looks like a finger. It's what we call a prehensile tip. So it effectively is like having a little finger at the end of their trunk there. So they can pick up a single grain of rice with that. So much fine motor control there. So that is another reason why we do this enrichment, so that we're engaging all of those muscles and they have to sort of work out how to get some of this food. So they can hold about 7 litres of water in their trunk, but they do just feed it straight into their mouth. And another thing, while we're sort of in that anatomical area of trunks, have a look, while we've got this beautiful one walking towards us, where their trunk anchors onto her face. Between her eyes, there's a little bit of a bump before it sort of raises up into the top of her head. So that little bump is a fatty pad that is essential in communication with elephants. So we tend to look at them and presume that they're these big, really noisy animals. They are actually very, very quiet, and they have so many different vocalizations other than that trumpeting that we're used to associating with them. So there's a lot of low grumbles. There is the trumpeting as well, but there is also something called infrasound, which is a low vibrational sound that we as humans cannot even hear. It's beyond our level of hearing. So elephants evolved from animals that lived in the water, so they're related to dugongs and manatees. So this infrasound is like a type of sonar. And although we can't hear them when they're doing it, we can see it when they're doing it. So what that means is if this beautiful elephant was communicating with infrasound right now, that fatty pad between her eyes would start pulsing and vibrating a little bit. And if you looked really carefully, you'd be able to see that. So those vibrations travel all the way through their body, through their feet, and get this, they can pick up this sound 5 kilometers away, but they pick it up through their feet. So an elephant's foot also has a big fatty cushioning pad there. So if you were to take an x-ray of an elephant's foot, they would kind of look like dainty little ballerinas standing on tippy toes with this big fatty sort of wedge heel there. So their feet are very, very important to them. They cushion all of that weight, and the base of an elephant's foot is made out of keratin. It's the same material that our fingernails are made out of. When you head a little bit further down the trail, after you go past the last elephant paddock, there's a little classroom on the left there called Forest Harvest. Now, if you go in there, we have the skull of an elephant that used to live here at Melbourne Zoo, and it's a good opportunity for you to get a little bit of an understanding of all of that anatomical stuff going on inside that skull in relation to the infrasound. And what you'll see is at the front of that skull, there's a big dip in the bone, and that's where that big fatty pad sits there. So these exquisite, incredible animals, as beautiful as they are terribly threatened out in their natural habitat, and there is one very simple thing that we can all do today that is going to help them. Has anyone got an idea what it might be? No, I've got a question. You've got to answer my question first. How can we help the elephants today? Any ideas? No? Do we know what's threatening them? No? Okay. Yes, palm oil. So to make it very, very simple to understand, because palm oil is a big problem, and the reason that it continues to be such a problem is because it's such a confusing subject to get your head around. And the more we perpetuate this confusion, it means we're not able to really feel like we can do anything about it. So to make it as simple as possible to understand, palm oil is not a bad thing. It's a high-yielding oil. It's really versatile. It's in about 80% of our supermarket products. So it's in chocolate because it has a high melt temperature. It's in savoury snacks. It's in makeup, washing detergent, shampoo, heaps of stuff. We probably all consumed it today without even knowing. Now, the issue is not with palm oil, it's how it's farmed. Now, there are sustainable ways of farming palm oil where you're reusing land, but unfortunately what is happening over in Sumatra is massive areas of rainforest are being knocked down, burnt to the ground, used for palm oil plantations, and then they're moving straight onto more old growth habitat, which means that the Asian elephants, the Sumatran tigers, the orangutans have lost 85% of their habitat so far. There is hardly anything left. Now, the reason that that involves us here today and here in Australia is one of the few countries that it is not a legal requirement to label palm oil on any product. And given that manufacturers don't have to label it, and the fact that it has this association with deforestation, habitat loss, and potential inevitable extinction of incredible creatures like this, manufacturers know that if they label it on their product, you are not going to buy their product, so they can legally hide it under about 20 to 30 different names, most commonly vegetable oil, or on cosmetics or shampoo, sodium lauryl sulfate. And how many times have we seen vegetable oil or sodium lauryl sulfate on an ingredients list and gone, oh, what's that? It's palm oil. So what we are trying to do here at Zoos Victoria as a conservation organisation is simply give you that power back. So we are asking the government to change those labelling laws so that it is a legal requirement that palm oil must be labelled on every single product, so that when you go to the supermarket, you can see if it's sustainably sourced, if it is not sustainably sourced and it is taking habitat, or if it's just not in it at all. And you can use your buying power to show manufacturers what is okay and what is not okay, because unfortunately it is money that drives everything. And then hopefully that is going to start guiding manufacturers towards more sustainable options. So the one simple thing that you can do today is, as you head further down the trail and you go to the orangutan sanctuary, there's a little pretend supermarket in there to show you how confusing it is to work out what palm oil is in. But there's big screens with a green button. You tap that button, we've got an email ready to go. It'll send a message to our local minister asking them to change those laws. And we do know that the government are listening, because they send us emails asking us to stop sending them emails. But we're not going to do that, because we need to ensure that there is a future that includes these incredible elephants outside of zoos, in their own natural habitat. And if you want to be even more awesome, have a look in your pantry when you get home. Check out those ingredients lists. Do a little bit of research of what palm oil is in, what it's not in, and start shifting your shopping list. And that will, in a very, very simple way, start to make a massive difference. So thank you so much, guys. I'm going to jump off the microphone, but if you guys do have any questions, do come up and have a chat. I'll be around for a little while longer. We've got heaps of talks happening throughout the day. Enjoy your afternoon.
That's a good shot. Oh, that's a dog. He loves him. Oh, suitable gender.
I think they said they're all females except the one with the little husk. She's over there. I think my nose is itchy.
진짜 많은데 여기가 등산복길이야. 연세가 많으셔. 아까 쟤는 피부가 탱탱한 거 보니까 아까 보내가 어딨어? 오지마. 엄마 여기 서봐. 싸우는 것 같아.
对，小宝宝了，小宝宝怎么了？好像在呀。
Go inside.
He's heading the bubble.
Spa bath. You want to go in for a spa, a cold spa?
He's going to full of bubble bath.
In a little tank.
Oh, should have been in the tank. There's one down here. I didn't see it.
The elephants on the other hand.
Oh, can't get it.
He's trying to get in.
Trying to get over.
He's trying to get in.
Ready to go for a walk? Yep, shrunk up. He's happy.
So they're still waiting over there at the gate. Maybe something's going to happen.
Just about to go there. You guys can we come? Guys, we're getting information. What? They're information.